So what would you say the importance of what you do now and with Christian humanism on how we deal with this economic climate that we're in right now, which seems to a lot of people hopeless, or can't understand it, or it seems like they're angry that the few have exploited the masses and collapsed the system. And how do we somewhat rebuild our our society around this economic catastrophe?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it is enough to teach cannibals table manners. You have to change their diet.
Right.
So I think the time is right for a paradigm shift in the way the global economy works. And with this research center, Markets, Culture and Ethics, in the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross, that is in the heart of the Catholic Church, what we try to contribute to is exactly that, to change the way the global economy works. And in the long run, what changes culture is education, is this cultural transformation through values, practices, and institutions. So we give thought to this in our research, and I try to explain this following the ideas which Benedict XVI, the late Pope Benedict XVI, wrote in his last social encyclical called Caritas in Veritate, which means charity in truth. So he says, on the first side, he calls on the Catholics, and actually all Christians and all people of goodwill, to rediscover the Christian Catholic roots of capitalism. Because it's not true that capitalism was born as an anti-Christian system, or as an only as consequence of Calvinism. Of course, Calvinism was very important in the development of business ethics and the economy, as was Protestantism in general, obviously. But there are also Catholic roots, and they go back to the commercial revolution in the 13th century, when Europe was uniform and in the church, in undivided Christianity. And it was in that time that the financial instruments were developed, like bill of exchange or book money and so on. And it's also very funny to see, not funny, it's interesting to see how the Franciscans created many elements of our modern economy unintentionally. Saint Francis had prohibited the friars to have any money on them. So they went to friends of theirs, gave them the donations which they had received, and these people had to administer the money. They weren't allowed to keep it. So what did they do? They invested it. And they discovered that rich wealth doesn't consist in hoarding money, but in making it circulate. And they became richer and richer. And so these were the first managers. They had to be accountable to the friars, so they invented accountancy. Accountancy is an invention of the Catholic monks. And they also set up the first social banks. In 1462, the Franciscans opened a so-called mons pietatis, a heap of piety, a heap of money of piety, dedicated to piety. They had gone to the rich and had said, "You want to go to heaven, so give me your money. You can have it back whenever you want, but in the meantime I will give out credits to the small and medium enterprises." So it wasn't meant to be donations which you give away, but it was supposed to be the credit which these small and medium enterprises were not able to get because they were in the hands of unscrupulous moneylenders. So this is the Christian origin of many elements of modern economy have kind of been forgotten. And the second input which we want to give is to make people realize that after Adam Smith, there has been a shift in epistemology. Up to Adam Smith, the guiding principle, the regularity idea of scholars studying the economy, was that it was a part of ethics. Economics was a part of ethics, because the question they asked was, what must I do to be just and even holy in the economy? And with Adam Smith, the question shifts. He wanted to apply Newtonian science. Newton had discovered that the planets follow natural laws and the law of gravitation and so on. He wanted to apply the same logic to society, to the market. So what Adam Smith does is he doesn't prescribe anymore, as formerly was done with ethics, to say you should do that, but he describes and says people in the markets do this, guided by the invisible hand of self-interest. You know? So you have to be aware of this, because if you're not, one could conceive economic as something which has nothing to do with ethics. As ethics as if it were the sauce which you pour over the meat, or the sugar which you can put into coffee or not, as you wish, according to taste. But it's not, it's the meat. It's an integrative part of economic activity. Mm-hmm. And the third big challenge which we face is the question, what does it mean to be a Christian in the economy? You know, can there be a difference? Does it make a difference? We would say yes, but if we discover what is the difference, it's not so easy. Take, for instance, traffic. So is there such a thing as Christian traffic? No, but it should make a difference to be a Christian in the traffic, to be especially obedient to the traffic rules and considerate to others, and to be patient and kind of charitable. You know? So the distinguishing hallmark of a Christian is charity. That is what distinguishes us and Christian religion from any other religion, to say God is love, and two central commandments of charity. And so the challenge is, how do we get love into the economy? How do we get love into politics? It's simple with the family and friendships, but it's not easy with these macro relationships.
Right.
So the suggestion of Christian humanism from a Catholic perspective is to consider things like the logic of gift or gratuitousness, relationality, fraternity. And that doesn't mean giving away things for free, giving away presents, but it means realizing that market relationships are human relationships, and I can meet people in very different ways. I can be dominant, I can be exploitive, I can be full of hatred, I can be harsh or unfriendly. Or to the contrary, I can be kind, I can be just, I can be interested in the other person. I can approach them with a spirit of service. You know, I can wish to do good. So it's a good thing that after 2008 people are beginning to reconsider the way the economy works. They are aware that we need a paradigm shift. It's not just going on doing business as usual, but it's not just a flaw in a mechanism which otherwise is perfect, and we just have to fix this little flaw and then we can go on as before. But the problem is conceiving the economy as a machine. Mm-hmm. It's not mechanics, it's human agency. And so people are beginning to speak, influential people are beginning to speak about shared value, that it's not enough to just make money or make profit, but we have to create value and share it.
Yeah.